Alrighty, I'm gonna go ahead and begin right here. So, first trade of the day for me was on AGFY at 9:35 in the morning. I remember looking at this one on the 1 minute, and I was looking for a reclaim over this 59, or I'm sorry, this 58 cent area. You could see it was after hours support yesterday. Came down to it this morning. We held it as support here, held it as support. We're just kind of trading in the range. So coming into the open, we broke through it, had the extension into VWAP, got rejected at the VWAP. You can see the high selling on the seller side. And then as we were pulling back, I took my starter in at 61 cents right over here. I believe I was on the 3 minute when I took the starter. So right over here, I got long at 61 cents at 9:35 would be right here. So inside of this candle, risk was off 58. Overall, stop loss wasn't hit. As we were pulling back on this candle, I noticed the volume was really, really light. So I was anticipating a move into VWAP. So we have our pop here. We get, the high volume push. Buyers start stepping in. And on this candle right over here, I took my first piece off at 62 cents exactly. And I'll go back to my messages in the Goblin Gang. Took some AGFY off initial high day pivot for move into VWAP. So I'll go back to it because I know I talked about it a lot. So right over here, I said took some profit into VWAP here. Let's see if we get the extension and get into 65s. So our first extension was into the 63 area. That's where my second piece came off. And then I said taking more into this area. Let's see if we can base over 62 cents, 60 cents now for more. So we end up pulling back on, light volume if you look at the advanced study. We hold our EMA trade line. We hold over the 61, 60 cent area. Ultimately, I wanted to see us hold over the VWAP. But, I was like, all right, cool. If we break, below it, we have our EMA 9, and we also have this 62 pivot from pre-market. And we also have our 60 cent support in this area. You can see it was resistance, resistance, held as support on all of these candles. So as soon as we pulled in, I said, let's see if we can base over this area. And then right as we did that, we come down, we test 60. All buyers on this candle, they sucked it right back up. We get the breakthrough VWAP, low volume test into 62, held our 62 pivot. Very low selling on that pullback. That's something that should, this would actually provide a great entry for someone off the 62 pivot. You can see it was resistance here, support here. And then ultimately buyers stepped in and we got our 65.5 tap. So I took more profit over here at 64.5 into this high volume move. You always want to scale out into strength. And then I said, want to see more buyers step in here and give us the push back through VWAP. If we reject, max pain is off 59. Now I did have this trend line drawn, so I didn't exit my last piece at 59. However, when we made this drop here, I noticed that the volume was starting to pick up on the seller side. And I took my last piece off at break even at 61, basically 61 cents. It was like 61.2, but it fills at 61. So this was the first winner on the day, really nice. Another thing I do want to note on this one is if you look over here, the main reason why I got into it on the 1 minute was we had our initial high day pivot here. And I remember looking at this initial high day pivot. And look how we, started hovering around it. Every time we came into it, volume was really light. So that's what really, caught my attention on it. And these are my favorite setups. They're the easiest setups, the opening drive plays. You get long on the break over and hold onto the initial high day. And then, you analyze volume and go from there. So overall, this was a really nice move. Caught some nice gains on it. Did anyone else play AGFY? No? Okay, I'll move on to the next one. So the next trade of the day for me was PEGY, Peggy. Right over here, long Peggy off this 3 minute flag, looking for new highs. So let's go over to the chart and let's see what happened. So Peggy, I got long right over here on this 3 minute flag. I got long at $2.62. I was looking for the pullback into 254, but at the time we were holding over. So normally when a stock is strong, you'll pull into your EMA, you'll hold your EMA, and like sometimes you won't test the pivot completely. So going into this one, I seen the flag set up. I seen we were holding our EMA. I seen that there were buyers stepping in. So I decided to take some off the pivot, and I got long at $2.62 at 10:07 a.m. So it'd be right here on this candle. As soon as I did that, we got our bounce off our pivot. If you look at the volume, it tells you the whole story. First scales came off into 274 because this was our, initial, or not our initial high day, but this was our high day currently. So always want to scale some out into high day in case we do reject. If you do have to take the loss, maybe you take it at break even, or maybe it turns into a tiny loss. So we got long Peggy off the 3-minute flag, looking for new highs. And then, where is it? Said volume is descending, watching for the fake out into 3, or we blow through 3 with ramping volume. So as we were making this move up, I was scaling on the strength. So every time we had this really nice leg, I was scaling out profits. My second piece came off at $2.82, so right in this candle over here. You can see the volume is, ascending. It's getting higher and higher. Buyers are happily stepping in. So I decided to scale some off into strength. Then I said Peggy's seller stepping in on the fake out into 3. And what I meant by that was I was looking for a move into 3. And normally when you break a whole dollar level, you're either going to, volume's going to come ramping in and you're going to squeeze $3, $3.10, $3.15, etc. Or you're going to break over 3 and you're going to stuff, as Peggy did here. And I wrote over here that that's exactly what I was expecting. Volume is descending, watching for fake out into 3. I noticed that, over here, the volume was very high, volume started getting low, started to get high again here, and then overall it started descending on the break of 3. So then I wrote Peggy, sellers stepping in on the fake out into 3. Let's see if buyers start buying off the 285 pivot. Now I remember I went on the 1 minute here, and I was looking for this previous high over here of $2.85 to hold. Notice how we broke over it on high volume, had the low volume pullback on the selling side, then we continued higher into 3. Then I noticed that we had a lower high right here on the 1 minute. So when we pulled into our pivot, buyers did step in, you can see that. But overall, we couldn't break back through 3 to make that new high. So that's why I wrote right here, lower high here on the 1. And then ultimately, I took my final piece off on that 285 pivot break right over here. Because normally when the stock is strong, you don't want to see, these pivots break through and, start acting as resistance. You want to see follow through. You want to see, a retest of these pivots, and you want to see them hold. Also, if you draw a trend line from this move all the way to the highs, you can see that we cracked it here and actually confirmed it as resistance. And this is not something I had drawn. I just put it on the chart now. So took my last piece off on that 285 break. Great trade overall, executed very nicely. Risk was very, very good. So that was my second winner for the day. Stepped away from the computer for a little while here, did some things that I had to do. Came back at about 3:50 p.m. Oh wow, this one really extended. And I caught a 5-minute flag here on KITT. So I noticed we were flagging into this pivot over here, into our 560, 568, 570 area pivot. You can see it was resistance here, kind of resistance here. And then ultimately when we broke over it, we held it as support into this 5-minute flag. So I decided to wait and see, the volume was like, it had volume, but at the same time, it was very whippy. You could tell by this big stuff candle. And, we had this big move right back up. So I wanted to wait for some kind of confirmation. So that's what I did. I'll go to the messages right over here. Diego actually came in chat right on this dip. And he was like, KITT soaker, let's bang. That's when I was like, okay, wow, I was about to type out, watch this 5-minute flag. So as soon as we get our 5-minute flag break through our downtrend line, we pull in on lower selling volume. We hold our downtrend line, and this is actually where I got long at $5.95. And then I told him, where's it at? Nice downtrend retest here. You guys could see it right over here at the time. Looking for 615. 615 is this area over here, and the reason why I was looking for 615 is because if you look at all these stuff candles, we'd come up to the 620, 630 area, and then we'd ultimately get stuffed. So I was looking for 615, then I was looking for an extension. Once we got our move into about 608, 610, I took my first piece off at 607, and I said why I did. Scale off highs here, whippy action, don't want to get caught in a knife, and that I was risking off 590s. So ultimately we start, hovering over the $6 area, 595 area, so it was clean action. And then and then buyers just come ramping in on this candle. We get our extension through 615. My second piece of profit came off at 603 actually, all the way down here, because I was I wouldn't say nervous, but I was kind of mitigating any risk, any potential risk that I had to take, because the action was very whippy. So then when we got my price target of 615, I sold out of the remaining piece of my position at $6.18, so that would be right over here. We ended up pushing up and testing the 625 pivot area here. We'll draw that out. Previous resistance, we got rejected on it here, got rejected on it here, and then we had this huge stuff candle into 580. So I think I played this pretty well. I could have got lower eds, but like I said earlier, I wanted to see some kind of confirmation before risking any money in this position because of how whippy it was. And then ultimately, you guys can see this action here. I missed out on this whole move, not worried about this move. I made my money here. I seen this flag setup, executed on the flag setup, so I was happy with that. So yeah, that was a really nice trade. And then those were my only trades on the day. Some things I did well, I waited for my entries. I didn't FOMO into anything. On AGFY though, I think I could have gotten a better entry. And the reason I say that is because looking at the 1 minute over here, we had all these dips into the 58 area. I was risking off 58. Overall stop loss wasn't hit, but I was in all the way up here at 61. So I do think I could have been a little more patient. However, I was anticipating the move. We did get a few pops, but overall, I positioned myself properly to be able to afford the loss at 58 if I needed to take it. But just looking at it now, I could have got some better dip ads. I could have had a better average and could have capitalized a little more on it. But overall, it did work out in my favor. And it was a great trade. I know a lot of people banked on it in the Goblin Gang chat. So those were my 3 trades. And before I hand over the floor to anyone else that wants to recap their trades with me, I just want to say there is actually a fake Discord of me. I'm trying to scroll up so I can find the message here. It's right over here. Their username is Salih Trades with 2726 at the end. They're going around messaging people. So if you're watching this video and you follow my page and whatnot, my only Discord is Salih Trades #6600. So if you get a message from this one, it's not me. I will not ask you for money or anything of that nature. So just wanted to put that out there. Anyone else, what'd you guys trade? You guys can, obviously turn your mics on, share your screen if you want, go over your own trades, or if you want, I can recap them for you. What did everyone else trade?
So the ones I trade also were PIGY.
Peggy.
Yeah, there's actually echo. Does anyone else hear that, or is it just me?
Wow, Peggy is running. Holy crap. No, I don't hear an echo.
Okay, so it may just be from my end. Okay. So I played PGY off of your time. Actually, it's around 10:45. So basically, when it got over that 274 area again, after it dipped down to like
260 area, yeah, I see that.
Yeah. So as soon as it reclaimed that 274 area again, I was interested. I got great fills. Got fills around like 275, 274.
Nice.
But with this one, so this one I just completely fumbled, if I'm just being honest. At this time, Peggy wasn't one that was on my main screen. I actually turned to his side, my side shot. And so when I came to this, I saw it was at the level where it was holding 274. So it was a quick reaction. Uh, the bad side about that side on my end is I didn't quickly determine my risk on this, right? So I had already got in a trade with anticipation, hesitation. Actually, not hesitation, more anticipation, as you know, because I didn't define my risk.
Yeah.
So as you see it, once it broke over that 275, it just kept being up and down between 280s and 275.
Yep.
So I essentially just got jumped up in that area. Um, uh, right before it busted up to 280, yeah, right there, I got in again. Got my fills at 275. So I did get that a move up, and I scaled some at 280. It's like 284, 285 where I scaled some.
Nice.
But I was still holding 3/4 to my position because I really wanted it to go up to at least 295s and then
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
yeah, especially if that was where we had a kill candle at right above 290. So that area was really all right. If shorts are going to be anywhere, it's going to be that area where it just completely fell.
Definitely. Yeah.
And then, but it didn't, right? It came back down that 280. That was a really relative resistance that had turned support. And I didn't cut it then. My thought was like, okay, this is going to come back, retest that 274, 75 areas, and then go. Because this has just been a common thing that I've been seeing with this.
Yeah. Retest of a pivot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it did retest it, and I still held, but I just failed to see that it was having issues breaking that 280s again.
Yeah. That was honestly what I was gonna point out right now is when you did break below this 280 pivot, you did hold your previous support at 275, like that area. But then when you came back up on the 1 minute to try and get that move back over 280, it failed a couple times. It tried to put in a flag here, and then like a little 1 minute flag. I don't know if you guys can see this. You got your leg up here, little 1 minute flag.
Yeah.
But then ultimately, sellers just stuffed it.
Yeah, they just stuffed it. I mean, at that point in time, I should have just realized like this is a retest. If it was gonna go, it should have break through 280 and even 285, right?
Exactly. And another thing I would like to point out is, so you see on the previous trade that I just recapped how I said, normally when you're pulling into a pivot, you want to see that pivot become like you want to see it respected. So like for this one, like I would have liked to see this, come up, not break below this 280, maybe go to like 277 on a wick candle or something, but ultimately I would have really really liked to see it hold 280 on the pullback. Volume was light on the pullback, so it did look good. It did have that higher probability of bouncing and continuing.
Yeah.
But then overall sellers just they took it down. Then another thing you said, like you didn't really. So do you know how to define your risk, or on this trade you kind of just it was like an impulse buy? You didn't really like define your risk before.
Well, being that this was an impulse buy, I really was really conservative of my risk. I was like, all right, for this one, 2 cents under my entry because of where it was at. I'm cutting it. But re-seeing this, I would have probably entered with smaller size and had my 270s area, 263. It's still a relative area. To see the traction it had there before.
Yeah. I was gonna say this area over here, like 270, would have probably been a good spot to risk off. Like, sure, you could have, extended it down here, but then you would need to position yourself properly. But the reason I say this area would have been a good area to risk off of, because you see all these resistance points here. Then, when we get over 270, we hold it. We come back down, we hold it. There are a couple short candles into 260s, but ultimately, when we reclaimed over 270, we held it pretty well. So That's why I say 270 would have been a good spot to risk. And then, ultimately, if you really wanted to extend that risk, you could have went off 260 with, obviously smaller size because you don't want to take, a 15-cent loss over there. So, but overall, I mean, I see why you got in. You had a break over, held this pivot, but overall, sellers just attacked it. So,
Yeah, and then right before they attacked it, on that retest of 274, is also seeing when they go back to try to break the 280, a little bit more to the right there.
yeah,
That was all on low volume, so
exactly. Yep. Good job noticing
nobody
that.
really stepped up.
Yeah, good job noticing that. It was on very low volume. Although, it was trying to flag. Like, if I seen this and I seen the low volume, like, I would have been like, okay, cool, we have our flag. Let's see if we can get the break of our flag. And then, that's when this candle, should have been all green and, you get your extension into the 290 area. But yeah, overall,
Exactly.
even on the retest, it was very, very light. So something like this, you would have had to look at your level two or your price ladder at the moment to see, what's going on in these little increments. If, there was, a lot of sellers on the tape. Obviously, there were a lot of sellers, but like if there were a lot of buyers at the moment, but looking at the volume now, you can clearly see that there was kind of nothing. It was kind of flat both ways, and sellers probably seen that as an opportunity to start slapping it with size short, and then you get this big move down, and I'm sure it took out all the stop losses on the way down, and that's what helped increase the move all the way down into the 250s. Yeah, Breezy also makes a good point. A lot of buyers could have been like, come on, come on, come on, and they just got tired, and there were not many buyers to come back in it because everyone was all the way over here looking for the move higher.
Yeah,
So
and that's actually a really good point. That's something I want to bring out. That's something to be aware of.
definitely,
That area, that 275, is being very not really supported. It's one thing to have in mind that there's going to be a lot of people having stop losses under that that level essentially.
exactly,
And
yep,
I forgot actually who had mentioned that. I think it was Diego mentioned that based on the PA, he was at a stop loss. That itself is just a sign that bigger traders, are going to be probably heavy. So if it comes down, it's going to get them hard.
yeah,
So that
exactly.
I was very fortunate to manage my risk well and kind of cut it when I really, you know, right before that killed.
Oh, so you weren't caught in this kill candle.
I sold that. My last sale was at I got 275 on sales.
Oh, nice. So you dodged this whole move.
Yeah,
Nice, sweet.
but um, when I had sold, again, I realized that 270 was still relative. So when it dropped quickly to 270 and it was, holding that level, I attempted it again. And it went back, tested 275s, but when I saw it wasn't breaking 275, I just got the rest.
Yeah, I think you played it pretty well. You definitely managed risk very, very well. You know, you noticed the low volume retest. You noticed how buyers, weren't really stepping in where they needed to step in, and you prevented yourself from catching this big, kill candle. So, good job on
Yeah.
that, man.
And then the other plate I did was actually KTTI as well. So I played this in the morning. Let's see, your time would have been at 10:45.
So right on this flag in this area.
Yeah, so right after it reclaimed that VWAP right there,
Yep.
essentially. So I saw when it was creeping up, and I was barely testing it, but I didn't see volume come in. So once I saw the breaker VWAP with volume, I was like, okay, I'm interested in this.
Yeah.
Not only did it break over VWAP with volume, but if you look left, it was creating a U pattern. Uh,
Yep.
at that previous area where I had a kill candle.
Yeah, that
Uh,
U-shape recovery.
yes. So my entry was okay. If I could get anywhere, at VWAP or slightly below VWAP, um, I'm gonna, you know, take a stab at it. Um, and I had a support level, daily support level, 530s. So
Nice. Yeah, I see that
my
pivot.
yeah, so my entry was like, all right, try to get somewhere at VWAP or even better below VWAP and have 630. And if it drops below 630, I'll cut. And that's basically, how I enter my trade. Fortunately, it fell below 630, so I followed my plan. I cut it. Um, and yeah, I mean,
Yeah, yeah, I see. You had
uh,
your break overview up. Yeah, you managed risk pretty well on this one. Although I would say I would have given it, a little bit more room. Because, like, looking left, we did have this 520. Let me extend this line so you can see what I'm looking at. But, like, overall, we did have this 520 pivot over here that held these bodies really, really nicely. Even held this wick and this wick. So just, like, take notice of these things. Even in the pre-market area, I see this 530 area was respected very well, and then you also had your 520 area respect. So that's why I say I would have given it a little more breathing room. Although I do get your mindset. You're getting it up here. You don't want to hold for that. Potentially you cracked it and continued lower. But then another thing I do want to point out is the volume on the sell side. If you look at the advanced study, it was very, very light on this candle. And then we actually formed a doji. So there was kind of an indecision, but overall there were more buyers. And then buyers stepped in after. We got this hammer, and then that's when we made the move higher. So, like, noticing these little things, I feel like sometimes they can help you out, with identifying your risks so you can possibly stay in the trade, and these little things happen. Because, these things are so volatile. They'll seem like they're done. They'll seem like they're crashing, and then a buyer will just come in, or multiple buyers will walk in and they'll suck it right back up, and then the move will continue higher.
yeah, I agree that's definitely an area that I'm slowly improving on is giving my plays a little bit more room to play with. Of course, plays that have the play to room with, there's other support areas within. Um, but
Yeah, I mean the 530
sadly,
daily pivot was also a very good area to go off of. You had your daily pivot, so that was good. You also had your 530 resistance, support. So, but just like the reason I say the 520 area is because looking at it in the morning, that's the area that was respected very well.
right.
But 530 was also a very good pivot to risk off of. Overall, just hit your stop and continue. Did you try entering, back in after we had this suck candle back up, or did you just kind of leave it alone?
I did it because the next level I had after 530s was actually 508.
Yeah, I see this area down
And so
here.
my thought was, yeah, so my thought was like, all right, if I get stomped out, that's fine. It might try to test that 508 area, 506 areas, and then I'll get in there.
Yeah,
Um, but at that time, I had, it didn't do it, so I was like,
yeah, it
hold
happens.
on.
Yeah, if I'm like looking at it at the 5 minute, and I kind of see this flag being put in right here. So we get our break over
Right.
VWAP, and then we kind of have that low selling, kind of picked up here, but overall buyers stepped in, and then you get your little flag break, and you get your move back into the 570 area.
Yeah.
I think you played it pretty
And
well. It just it caught you, and that's pretty much
yeah,
it.
that's gonna happen.
Oh, of
But
course.
and that's one thing too that I know I gotta focus in more is um, I'm taking my entries now to the 5 minute, which that was one example. Um, but I'm getting too whipped around with the 1 minute.
Yeah, the 1 minute's very. I don't know people like I know a lot of traders that strictly focus on the 1 minute only, and like every time I see it and they're going over a trade or something, they'll be on the 1 minute. I'll be like, geez, man, like how do you get anything done on that time frame? Like over here it looks so clean, and then like if you just pull up a 1 minute, like it's crazy.
Yeah.
But you know, everyone has their own style, to each their own. But just in my opinion, it's too whipsawy for me on a 1 minute. Like normally when I'm trading, I'll have the 5 minute down here, and then I'll have the 1 minute up here. But it's too much for me just to focus on a 1 minute all day. So were those yours? I just had like a tongue twister. Were those your only trades on the day, or did you capitalize on anything else?
No, that's actually those were my only trades on the day today.
Nice, nice.
Yeah. So again, I ended at the day red, but um, I managed risk well, and just come with a clear head tomorrow and
Definitely.
do it all over again. And even with those setups, I mean, there's setups that I will take again. They're
Yup.
decent setups. It's just
Just didn't work out in your favor.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
Good mindset to have, man. A lot of people will take that loss and be like, "Ah, screw this. It's against me. The market makers did this to me." So good mindset to have, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, it wasn't easy to get to that mindset, because I
Yeah.
before, yeah, everyone's against me, right? But
Yeah.
you just get to that point. You just, that's just a wrong mindset to have.
Definitely. Yeah. You don't. The market has no emotions. The market isn't against no one. It's all price action and volume.
Exactly. But yeah, so that was it for me. So anybody else wants to share what they saw?
Yeah. Well, we'll see if anyone gets their mic on now. Took CRK on 3 minute, 0.38, 0.348 entry at 10:18 EST. Okay, let me pull the chart up. So they got long at 10:18. So right here in this flag setup, it was holding orb. Nice, right off the 34 area pivot, risking off orb. Okay, yeah, clean trade, man. See, you have your volume, or not your volume stick. You have your pole over here, kind of create that 3 minute flag. I'm sure it probably looks cleaner on a 5 minute. Yep, nice descending VPA on the flag. Buyer stepped in. You get your move into new highs. You also held this 34 area pivot. Also your EMA 9 and your VWAP held. You actually got EMA 9 VWAP crossover too. And then you confirmed the EMA as support and rode it higher. Good trade, Jixer, man. Really nice trade. Very low risk. He got long at 0.348. Wow, yeah, really nice entry too. Almost bottom ticked it, man. Risk was very low. Yeah, so this is like a position that you take heavier size on because it's such low risk. There's a very high probability of it continuing because it's such a clean setup. Great catch, man. Really nice catch. You guys see that? That's a picture perfect freaking flag. Beautiful VPA, beautiful flag setup. Really, really nice. Of course, Hot Rod, do your thing, man. I got the baby taking a nap on me, but I'll join. Enjoy. Who may? Turn that mic on, man. Yeah, I agree with you, Breezy. Jixer, man, that was a really clean trade. Really nice execution on it.
Going.
How's it going, Hume? What'd you trade today, man?
I actually didn't really even trade.
Oh, alright, so you took the day off?
Yeah, I mean, I was still, watching,
Yeah.
but not the whole day. I was eyeing CRKN later in the day, but just a lot of sellers.
Yeah, definitely. After it had this big move up
Pushing
and
down, man.
yeah, they tried really hard and they were successful looking at the volume.
But it's still been in an uptrend since I don't know, 11, like 1:15 your time. So I don't know, I might have some legs tomorrow.
Yeah, I can see that you're kind of coming in for that trend test now. See if it comes down into the 29-cent area. Yeah, this flag was really nice.
Lots of opportunity though. Again, it seemed like today.
Yeah, there were a couple that were called out in Goblin Gang by Coops, and they went crazy. think it was, if I'm not mistaken, SHPH. No, not this one. Oh, this was one of
It was F or SHFS.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yep, SHFS. It halted up, ran into freaking 13s off of this kind of wedge over here. Coops had it right here. Or not that one. I'm sorry.
It was so choppy though. It's crazy. I mean, I saw the flag, but with the earlier choppiness, I couldn't justify the risk, man. I mean, it was, in 2 seconds it was dropping 50 cents and then go up 50 cents,
Yeah, it was very, very whippy. Let's see, kind of had this wedge set up over here. Broke through. Nice retest of the wedge on lower VPA. Buyers step in and just get it freaking going. Wow. This whole 5-minute candle went from 8.8 all the way to 1025 area. Then you opened up at 1139. Wow, what a move, man. Then I also see Tops had a crazy move today. I didn't play this one at all today. Yeah, Coops off that. Wow, Coops was killing it today. Holy shit. Off this downtrend. Kind of a wedge setup, you could say, right over here. As soon as it broke through, it like didn't even pull back. The buyers just came in and wow, they took it to the promised land. Look at that. As soon as you broke it, just boom, they started slapping. Got through this pivot over here, didn't even pull back. Held the EMA 9 the whole time, and wow, look at that. Freaking, what is that? 790s all the way to 1130. Holy crap. Really nice moves. Peggy. Yeah, Peggy was a nice one. Played this one. Wow, Peggy is still going here. I've been noticing that a lot of these names, they're getting the follow through in the morning. Same thing like a couple weeks ago. You remember how we'd get the follow through, they'd die out, come back in the afternoon, and then. But now I'm noticing that we're getting this second leg in the after hours. Usually, after hours would come, it'd either consolidate or it would die down. But there was this name, I believe SNTI also put in some sweet moves towards the end of the day. You see, like, we get our leg up, kind of die down, consolidate, second leg into the close, and either, we continue like Peggy's continuing, or, we consolidate, and here's our dump, and then crazy move to the upside. There's another one, I think it was BBAI. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember Finger and FNGR.
I did not know. Let's take a look at that one. Did you oh, you said you didn't trade, but
Yeah, no, I was sitting watching a bunch of stuff. I really should just actually not even be at the screen, but it's hard to pull myself away.
yeah, no, I get that. Wow, this one had a really nice retest of this 520 area. Held as support, a couple days ago on Monday. Held on Tuesday. Held this morning, and then you got this, wow, parabolic move all the way from 520s all the way into 830s. Holy crap.
Yeah, I played that early in the morning too, the FNGR.
Nice.
After it gave us the huge stick at, what was it, 7:20 Pacific time or whatever, West Coast. So yeah, the first big 5-minute bar to 3D right.
Right over here.
Yeah, that one, yeah. So whenever it pulled back from that, like it gave us a nice stick of volume. And,
Yeah, I see that.
yeah, I ended up just buying that pullback.
Beautiful.
But I think like whenever you have names like that give you a huge amount of volume, and then it pulls back. I don't know. I have more confidence on that kind of a setup. So.
Yeah. A lot of people were probably, was probably going crazy on the scanner, and then you throw in breakout traders with it too, and you know, someone clearly got the momentum going here.
Yeah, and if you look on the 1 minute too, you can really see the stick.
Oh yeah.
There it is. So then it pulls back and you add right there. I mean, it was
Oh yeah, no,
really
really nice ads.
yeah, it was a really nice risk to reward and everything. And of course, I scaled all out by the second green bar there.
Oh.
That one, yeah.
Hey though, hey, but like seriously though, for a move like that, you know, let's say you entered where down here, I imagine in the 620, 630s.
Let's see here. Yeah, 633 is when I entered.
Yeah, no, you caught a nice move, man. You don't,
Yeah.
don't get into that mindset too much of, oh, I gotta catch the bottom and sell the top. You caught a really sweet move, dude.
Right, and that's the biggest thing I have trouble though with is just holding. I'm such a my I think it just works with my personality as far as scalping goes.
Yeah,
So like I get really, and that's the biggest thing I'm really focusing in on entries. Like you just gotta get a good entry, and then I go scalp way too much. But
yeah. But I mean, this is a really nice leg that you caught from 630s all the way into 680. So props to you, man. I see, you know, you kind of had this little flag descending. The sellers were really, really big on this candle, but overall, this candle kind of they stepped away, and then buyers just started tackling it. So really nice moves, man.
so yeah, that second candle too. I forget. I forget really what it was going on, but I mean it's also moving up. You know, like it's all that volume is all selling. Um, some of that could be buying too.
Yeah, at the advanced study, yeah, there was a little buying in it, more selling though. But this candle right next to it, the buyers were just like, all right, yeah, they're not dropping it past the 620 area. Let's start slapping.
So that dance study, I think. Do you know how like mathematically how that works? Like how they calculate it?
Personally, I don't, but I know like it basically tells you, you know, the selling pressure in the bar and then the buying pressure in the bar, but I don't know exactly how they calculate it.
Yeah, I might go look at it again because I think it's. I don't know how. I'm trying to think. Anyway, I'll go look into that for sure because I'm actually curious.
Yeah,
How does it calculate that? Because it's obviously not exact science. They don't have exactly how much it's buying and selling.
yeah,
And obviously, if you look at that second candle there, it's not going to all be red. There's going to be a lot buying.
yeah. There was like selling in it, green, and then this one also had like very minimal selling.
The one at 1024, that can't all be selling. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm wrong.
Oh no, there was some buying in it. Up here, you know,
Yeah,
there
the
was,
tiniest.
yeah, more sellers though.
Yeah, intriguing. But
Breezy
yeah,
says that he's pretty sure it's weighing orders on bid versus orders on ask. He is not 100% sure on that though.
I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Yeah, I want to dig into that, the code or whatever, see what it does.
Yeah. If you find an answer, throw it in the chat. That'd be very cool to know.
Yeah, will do, will do. But yeah, other than that, I mean, I just traded the Peggy. Because obviously everyone traded. I feel like
Yeah.
there's a
So
lot of people.
how'd you play Peggy?
Um, in the morning, I had a good trade. I think the one where it bounced off at 2.3. Let me look.
Yeah,
If I
right over here.
if I look at my spies itself,
You know, that was my original game plan to get long on the 230 break, but at the moment that this was setting up, I was in AGFY, and so you know, I didn't have a chance to come over to this one and play it as well, but you know, that's why I had this drawn over here. I was looking for that 625, 630 or 225, 230 break, and ultimately we got it, we held, and this would have been the prime time to add, you know.
yeah. But the bad thing for me is like I'm super scalpy. I'm gonna share a screen
Yeah,
of
definitely.
it's bad.
Hey, just if you're gonna share your TD, make sure your account number is blocked.
Yeah, will do. Appreciate it.
Perfect, perfect.
I was just gonna share a screenshot, honestly.
That works too.
Let's see. But I actually have a little PR day too, and I had it on Monday. So
Nice, nice. Very, very proud to hear that, man. Good job.
and yesterday I was red pretty decent, and I ended up pretty good green, but my trading was complete dog shit. So I need to get. I think after like you have a really good day, it's really easy to not trade your style.
Definitely, the confidence kind of comes in and it overtakes you.
Yeah, it's literally like study or. So this is what I need to get away from. Y'all are gonna laugh at it.
Holy
There's all
shit!
my. Yeah.
Holy shit, man! Kind of reminds me of a Bofo chart.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm kind of like green on the name. I get a lot of good entries, and then I just scalp exit.
Yeah, I can see that. You're buying the red pullbacks. And, yeah, Bofo chart. He knows. Yeah, so I see. You're buying all these pullbacks and selling on the pops. Hey, that's one way to do it, man.
Yeah, yeah. I gotta get better. I gotta get better at being more disciplined and only getting good buys and sells.
Jixer man, I do use so on my executing screen, that's where I have the price ladder, the times and sales, and the level 2. And then usually on this chart over here, it's a thumbnail with 4 different charts on it. And so I just minimize it to one chart every day when we review, and I keep my main indicators on there. But yeah, just Ben, this is a lot of damn trades, but overall, they're winners. So if you can scalp the range, man, do you?
Right. But I really need to work on being more disciplined. I think right now too, I'm trying to size up a little more, and I just anytime I get any sort of green, I just start selling.
Hey, nothing wrong with that, man. Build that wiggle room in that account so you can get into something and kind of hang out in it.
Right. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Definitely, definitely. I
But
see
yeah,
Breezy.
That's it for me.
Nice, nice. I see Breezy says took KITT after the bell on the failed bear flag, 516 at 937. Failed bearish patterns have been paying with low risk entries. Took one more trade after hour on liftoff 580s for that baby squeeze. Let's see KITT one last time. So I imagine right over here. No, 937. Yeah, I kind of had that red stick, failed bear flag here, buyer stepped in. Nice trade on it, Breezy. Took one more trade after hours on liftoff. Nice, so I imagine you got somewhere long on this pullback. Oh, he's typing right now. Yeah, hell yeah, man. Yup, perfect, yup. That would have been the ideal spot to add somewhere around this $5.90, $6 area pullback. Really clean trades, man. I think everyone did a good job today. Everyone had clean execution. There's really nothing to lecture about, really. Good job, guys. We're getting better, man. See, that's the teamwork. Does anyone else have anything they want to go over?
Yo, I can share my trades on Peggy.
Yeah, definitely. Do you want to share your screen, or do you want me to pull the chart up for you?
I probably won't be able to share the screen because I don't have a mic on my desktop, but I can send the charts in.
Yeah, definitely. You can send the charts, and I'll go ahead and open them up.
So I was thinking my idea on Peggy was mostly from the pre-market level.
Yeah.
5-minute chart. So then I was looking at a 211 to like hold basically.
Yep, I see that right over here.
Yeah. Once that was holding, and then I saw like 218 on the bid holding too. So then I took my entry kind of based off the 2-minute. I've been trying to stay away from the 1 minute, how you say.
Yeah, I see that.
That's kind of what I did. I just kind of scaled out at the top.
Yeah, I see. Oh, are these the buys and sells, these little red arrows?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. I see you caught the move from like 211s all the way into two. Clean trade, man. Really clean trade.
Yeah, it was early on in the morning, so I kind of stuck with the 2-minute. And then I just didn't want to give away any gains. I should have had a stop at my average or something. And then just kind of added or kind of sold at a bigger move.
Yeah.
But
so you were yeah, I see on the chart you were out completely into this move. Hey, I probably would have done the same thing, man. Because like a move like this that's so parabolic, you don't know what's gonna happen after. You could have, tanked down. This candle could have went red really quick, but like, good job, man. You caught a really nice move on it. Sometimes if you
Yeah.
take enough size, all you really need is that one big move, and you're all set for the day. So, good job.
Yeah, that's what I kind of I've been hearing from like what the other guys been talking about. It's kind of just been working on getting those entries good, and then sizing in on those entries, and then being able to scale out
Exactly.
once you're in the green.
Yeah, good job, man. Really nice move.
I also took a trade on Kit. I'm just trying to get to it right now. This was like later in the day. What is it? 1400, like 1415. Let me send the chart in.
Was that
This one I kind of got late to the party, but once I saw Kit holding that $6 on the breakout, I got in at 594. So once I got in under, I was like, all right, cool. Let me just hold for a nice breakout, and then send this other chart in for the 2 minute, because that's what I was basing it off of. And then there was also that wedge that we broke out for like the entire day
Yeah.
that Mikey was talking about.
Oh yeah, really
Yeah, I
nice.
just saw that $6 holding, and then kind of hold for that move above 6.
Oh yeah, very nice. Got long in that pullback, scaled out into the pop. Then what happened here? Did you stop out the remaining piece like break even?
Yeah, basically I just had that stop at average, kind of hoping not to get stopped out, but it just happened,
Yeah. No, ultimately clean trade though. You played the range really nicely. Good entry off support. At least you didn't, buy up here at resistance. So very good entry. And
Yeah, that was the last trade. The stop was literally like 10% of the trade. So I was literally just 90% out, and then held the 10%, just like freebie,
yeah, really nice moves. Good job, man. Good execution.
Thank you.
And also on that first one, Peggy, really nice, man. Off that 211, really nice.
Yeah, once I saw that holding, I was just like, what? I think I have the float right here at 5 million. So I was like, I don't know, I'm not sure what it was at early in the morning, but I'm pretty sure it had already rotated.
I'm pretty sure it did as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was like at 8.2 million, something like that.
Yeah. I think it was. I remember looking at it on I follow this page on Twitter that usually posts when a stock's float has been rotated, and I remember them posting in the morning that Peggy's float has been rotated twice. I think I sent it in the Goblin Gang actually.
Yeah, I know a couple people were talking about it. So then, and also the minute candle on that was like 1.7 million volume. Basically, like huge volume ignition. So I just took it.
Oh yeah,
I
wow.
noticed that on the previous candle too.
Yeah, I see that here. This candle had 85,000 on it, and then the next candle had 1.7 million. Yeah, holy crap. Yeah, right over here.
It was just like an insane increase.
Peggy float's been traded twice already. Really nice.
Yeah, just how you said earlier too, I've been noticing kind of these lower float names been popping up.
Yeah.
So that's something to keep in mind. Like if something has high volume, we got to keep that in mind. That it probably keep going for an extension that we probably haven't seen or something.
Exactly. Yep. And that's exactly what this one did. Volume kept ramping in. Overall, like all the pullbacks, except for this one right over here, this stuff candle, but like majority of them, they were all on lower volume. Buyers were clearly in control on this, and then this candle right here, this one just from 230s all the way into 270s. You can see the volume on that had freaking 4.7 million on it on the 3 minute right over here. So that was a really nice candle.
Yeah, on the 3 minute, that one had like 4 million solid.
Yep.
4.5.
Yeah, today there was some really good follow through. I was, really happy with the action today. Hopefully it continues into the last 2 days of this week, man. Usually Thursdays and Fridays are when we kind of get that, I guess you could say like iffy action where things start, knifing and stuff. But overall this week, action has been pretty clean, so hopefully it can continue.
Yeah, it would be nice to see some continuation.
Definitely. So those are your only two trades on the day?
Yeah, basically, I've been trying to keep it like simple, you know.
Yeah.
I've been cut out shorting, so I've been just kind of go long and kind of focus on these lower cap or small cap names, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Less is more, man. Less is more.
Yeah, for sure.
Did anyone else trade anything on the day, or is that pretty much it? I guess not. Alrighty, guys. I guess we'll call it here. Thanks for joining. Thanks for recapping with me. As always, it was fun to recap with you guys too.
Yeah, thanks for hosting.
Of course, man. Everyone enjoy your evening. Get ready to kill it tomorrow. Of course, Breezy.
Hell yeah.
You're absolutely
likewise.
welcome.
Take care, guys.
Yep.
See ya.
Alrighty, guys. Take care. Enjoy your evening.